So I've got one of these Instapots, One Pots. Everybody calls it something different. I have the Magic Chef brand, so I'm not sure what they call it. 9-in-1, I think, is what they call it. So I got this because I wanted to. We're going to be moving into a motorhome when we retire, so I needed something that was small that would do a lot of things. So I came across a website, a YouTuber, Pressure Luck. No, that's not it.
Pressure Luck Cooking?
Yeah, Pressure Luck Cooking. And I love Stroganoff. And so you guys have all watched my easy Stroganoff recipe. This is a more complicated Stroganoff recipe, but it looks fabulous. Now, I've adapted some of his recipes. As those of you that know me know that I can't follow a recipe if it's safe to save my life. So I'm going to go ahead and try this. So we're going to start this on saute, and we want to do it. Oh, that didn't work. All right. How do I change that more there? Okay, so we got, we went ahead, I put my meat in a little early. My butter wasn't quite melted, but that's okay because I figure time is of the essence, right? And so we're gonna just lightly sear the meat right now. We want to just kind of get it a little bit on each side. So I'm gonna go ahead and wait till the butter completely melts also and then we're gonna pull the meat out, and then we're gonna put in our next ingredients. So so you can hold on to the pot. It does spin, okay? You can hold on to this. This isn't hot. I know I was watching some videos and I'm like, well, isn't that pot hot? And it's not. You can see that the rest of this is all hot, but the pot is not hot at all here at the top. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this meat out. I'm gonna put it right back in the same bowl that I had it in. And you wanna leave all the juice that's down there. Some of it's gonna get away from me, that's okay. So we're gonna go ahead and put our onions, our fresh onions in here. We're gonna let these saute. I know there's a couple pieces of meat in there, so I was using a spatula instead of a spoon. I bought the One Pot a couple, 3 years ago. I've used it this is my second time using it. The first time I used it, I didn't read the directions properly, and I thought I was using it in crock pot mode, and I don't know what the heck I did, but it didn't cook. So I ended up transferring it to a crock pot and cook it again. So I was watching some YouTube videos trying to figure out how to use the One Pot and such, and I came across a guy. It's Pressure Luck Cooking. He has great instructions for the One Pot. It's a little different version than I have. He does show a couple different versions. So I had a little bit of trouble getting mine started, but we got it started. And the reason we bought this one's called a 9-in-1 by Magic Chef, but the One Pot, or what are some of the other names? Instapot. So there's different names for them. Because as most of you know that follow us, when we retire, we're gonna be moving to a motorhome. So I'm not gonna have room for a pressure cooker, a rice cooker, a slow cooker, and of course you can saute on your stovetop. But this also has a sous vide in it. I never actually used a sous vide, so I don't own one currently. But that's something that Charles has been talking about cooking. He's kind of excited about that. So this will take a very small room. You can cook while you're driving down the road where you can't really cook. It's not safe to cook like on the stovetop when you're driving down the road. So that's why we got this. So I want to go ahead and get my onions, and you can see they're starting to get al dente. And my juice is almost gone here. So I had made these mushrooms from the dehydrated ones from Costco. So at Costco you can get these fabulous gourmet, there's an assortment of mushrooms in here, but they're freeze-dried, okay? And so you just rinse them in warm water, and then you soak them, okay? Now some of them are quite large, okay? So after you've soaked them, I usually want to cut them up, okay? And you can save the liquid if you want. It's really gonna be good for a lot of things. But we're gonna go ahead and cut these up because we're gonna be using this for stroganoff. The mushrooms are gonna help make some, fresh mushrooms particularly will will give off some moisture as they cook. So you can see this fantastic broth. I'm gonna put a little tiny bit of this in because since these were dehydrated mushrooms, they're not gonna make as much liquid as regular mushrooms would. So I'm gonna go ahead and add some of my other ingredients. So I'm using garlic from Tastefully Simple, but I just rehydrated it, so it's the same as minced garlic that you can go ahead and buy. But you want to use this instead of garlic powder or garlic salt. So because you want that nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and put in that garlic. We talk about smell-o-vision. So what's YouTube smell-o-vision? What would that word be?
That would be smell-o-vision, I guess.
It's just smell-o-vision?
Yeah.
But it's not television.
No.
Smell YouTube-ish?
Yeah. Smell tube.
Smell tube, that's it. Okay, so this particular recipe calls for a quarter of a cup of dry white wine. So I have one of these little bottles in the pantry. So let's see this is probably closer to a half a cup. Let's see. Oh my goodness, it's 3/4 of a cup. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this whole thing in just because I don't want to have any left over. So we're gonna go ahead and put the white wine in, and we're gonna go ahead and put in some thyme and some seasoned salt. So this calls for a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. I don't have any Dijon mustard currently open, so I'm gonna use this old style mustard. So because it's gonna be stronger than the Dijon mustard, I'm just gonna use a half a tablespoon instead. So see, you can see that this is simmering a little bit, and you want it to go ahead and simmer because we want to make sure that we're gonna decrease the liquid a little bit. And notice that I don't know if you can still see, I might be too late. The pan is all deglazed. You want to, you can't really see, I put too much liquid in there already. But you want to make sure that before you get all your liquid in there that you scrape along the bottom and get all that deglazing. The meat, onions, all that off of the bottom. The recipe that I'm kind of following today calls for 1.5 cups of beef broth. And I actually did make the beef broth from the bouillons, but I'm looking at this sauce that the mushrooms made, and I'm gonna use that instead of my beef broth. But I still wanna get my portions right. So the wine was supposed to be 1/4 cup, and the beef broth is 1.5 cups, so that's 1 3/4 cup. I already have 3/4 cup of liquid in there, so I'm just gonna add a cup of this mushroom broth. I'm gonna go ahead and pour it all in here, just so I get any chunks out of the bottom. I think I'm actually gonna put some of this in a piece of Tupperware and save it. And I can freeze this and use it as broth. I can use it to make some gravy, or if I'm gonna make some rice in the cooker, I can put this in instead of water. So there's a lot of different things you can use for this. So I'm gonna go ahead and add this cup. And then I'm gonna put the meat back in. So we're gonna go ahead and put this in pressure cook mode. So, so everyone's a little different. So this says close and open. Okay, you want to make sure that your lid is on. I'm not tall enough. Seal. And whenever you turn this button will come up as it's starting to heat, and this has a vent, so you don't want to ever put your hand over that. So it's some of the units, like the unit that I was watching on YouTube, said it didn't say on, it said something else. Mine's saying on, but it's starting to build up. It's not counting down yet because it has to build the pressure up out of the pressure cooker before it starts cooking. Just like an old-fashioned pressure cooker. Some of you, your mom may have used them or your grandma may have used them. So it has to build that pressure up before you start counting your time. So in an old-fashioned pressure cooker, it has a little lid on the top and it wiggles around, and when it stops wiggling, that's when it's up to pressure, and that's when you start counting your time. So once it's gone up to pressure, it changes from on until it starts counting down. So your minutes. And this little button down here is so after it finishes cooking, it's set at keep warm. And then timer should work backwards then and start counting up how long it's kept it warm from the time it was done cooking. If you like this video and you'd like to see more, like, share, and subscribe, and definitely tell all your friends about us. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to go ahead and hit cancel so it's off. And make sure you see the word off. Okay, then remember the vent. You don't want to go like this because steam's going to come out of there. So you want to change it to here, here's the vent, and see all the steam's going to come out. And that's really hot steam. So you'll see as the pin has dropped, so we know that the pressure is done. So now we can go ahead and turn this and the lid comes off easily. Okay, so let's look at this. This looks really good. Back on saute, and we want it on high. And we're just gonna go ahead and let that set a minute and get it get bubbly. So we're gonna let it cook like this a minute. Now I'm going to, I'm not sure what ingredients I'm going to use. The recipe I had tried, I had read about, talked about this boursin. Well, because I'm supposed to be eating dairy-free, I went ahead and tried I'm buying the dairy-free bread. I've never tried this. I don't know how much it's going to break down. So I may or may not be adding sour cream, depending on how this breaks down. We made a cornstarch slurry here earlier. So Charles asked me if he should make this ahead of time. I'm like, yeah, sure, go ahead. Don't do that because it got really hard. But I thought I was gonna have to make it again, but as soon as I stirred it, it came to life. You can use equal parts cornstarch to liquid. You can use water like Charles said here, or you can use your, if you're using it for gravy or for this, you can use the warm ingredients as well, or half and half. So we're gonna go ahead and put this in. I'm gonna stir this up. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put in all of this boursin. And kind of just chunk it up. And this is dairy-free, so I'm not quite sure how it's gonna act in stroganoff. Usually when I make stroganoff, I go ahead and cheat and use dairy. And so you can use a non-fat sour cream, but a dairy-free sour cream will usually break up too much. So I'm just going to stir this and let this melt in here. I'm going to let that go ahead and melt a little bit. And then I'm going to add a can of cream of mushroom soup. Because we didn't have enough mushroom goodness, right?
You never have enough mushroom goodness.
I'm going to go ahead and put a little sour cream in here. I don't think it really needs any, but you know, is there too much thing? Something that's too much sour cream. So normally I would put about 8 ounces, but I'm going to put probably about 4 ounces here. This looks really good. You ready to eat some of this, Charles?
Yeah, I am.
This is a little thinner than stroganoff normally is, but I'm gonna get some this extra gravy in here. And taste this. So let's get just the pasta with the sauce. Oh my goodness. The mushrooms are so, I don't want to say intense. But they're really flavorful and has a really nice flavor. If you were vegan, if you're a vegetarian, or even if you're vegan, because I use a dairy-free cheese, and you could use a dairy-free sour cream as well. Just having just mushrooms in the sauce over pasta or noodles would be enough. Now let's see how the meat is, because normally we cook the meat a little bit longer so it has time to get tender, because remember we use an inexpensive cut of meat. We just use that stew meat, which is kind of the leftover trimmings from all different cuts of meat. So the meat is so tender. Look at this. It's you can cut it with your spoon.
Wow.
This is fantastic. All right, Charles, you got a test.
That's very good. I didn't think the sour cream tang would come through, but it was just enough. And yeah, the mushroom taste is really strong. Very earthy. Everything I like about mushrooms.
Yeah. So do you like this stroganoff or my quick and easy stroganoff better?
They're different.
That's what I was gonna
Yeah.
say. They're different. The quick and easy one is great. It has that special stroganoff flavor. So visit that one. But this one is more company quality. One is more family quality. This is more company quality. And it was very easy to make. Really took about the same amount of time. It has a lot more ingredients, but you could coordinate that too. So thumbs up.